Morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and today is December the 11th. I'm going to do your just for today in a meditation for December the 11th, brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into the meditation. Okay, misery is optional. No one is forcing us to give up our misery. Basic text, page 29. It's funny to remember how reluctant we once were to surrender to recovery. We seemed to think we had wonderful, fulfilling lives as using addicts, and that giving up our drugs would be worse than serving a life sentence at hard labor. In reality, the opposite was true. Our lives were miserable, but we were afraid to trade that familiar misery for the uncertainties of recovery. It's possible to be miserable in recovery, too, though it's not necessary. No one will force us to work the steps, go to meetings, or work with a sponsor. There is no NA militia that will force us to do the things that will free us from pain. But we do have a choice. We've already chosen to give up the misery of active addiction for the sanity of recovery. Now, if we're ready to exchange today's misery for even greater peace, we have a means to do just that, if we really want to. Just for today, I don't have to be miserable unless I really want to be. Today, I will trade in my misery for the benefits of recovery. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. Please and thank you. What a mighty day today. December the 11th. Misery is optional. How do you feel about that topic? I can tell you how I feel about it, and I will, if you don't mind. You know, when I was using and partying, and I thought that when I stopped using, that I wasn't going to be able to have as much fun as I did when I was drinking. Now, I was a person that went to the clubs and I went underage. I used a fake ID like a lot of young people did. And I would get in there, and depending on the discernment of the waitress, I would or would not drink. I didn't always drink every time I was in the club, but the majority of the time I was able to order something and not draw attention to myself. If it was a place that checked ID at the door, then I was fine. But if it was a place that checked ID at the table, it was an issue because they would see my ID with different eyes than the people at the door, it seemed like. So, anyway, to make a long story short, I would party like nobody's business. I love to dance. And so when I stopped using, I really questioned whether or not I would be able to dance and have a good time partying. Needless to say, I found, when I found Narcotics Anonymous, I also found events. They were having dances, they were having conventions, and I would show up and I would go to the main speaker. Then afterwards we would be dancing. And I was like, what am I'm not missing anything. When I first got clean, I was a DJ for a certain community, and we would have dances just about every weekend. We would throw a fundraiser, and I would be DJing, and my little nephew at that time, he would help me DJ, and he just really loved wearing those headphones and DJing. And so I found that I exchanged misery for pleasure. I exchanged it for real joy, real pleasure. And you can do the same thing. You can be as miserable as you want to be, or you can be as joyful and happy as you want to be. You make the decision and you do it every second of your day. And every day you have an opportunity to say, in recovery, I choose to be happy. I choose to enjoy my day. The things that I used to do, I'm not that same person. I can bring the same energy to anything, but I can bring it clean today. I hope you enjoyed this meditation. I did. Have a beautiful day, and I will be talking to you tomorrow. Make this a beautiful day on purpose.